everyone, it's Julianne here for Trinity Stamps and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created these fun and easy alcohol ink backgrounds using some sentiments and dies from Trinity Stamps. The products I'm going to be using today include the Marshmallow Alpha dies, a sentiment for almost everything stamp set, a bunch of different alcohol ink colors, some alcohol ink blending solution, some Yupo paper, and finally some gloves that I use each time that I play with my alcohol inks. So let's get started. I'm going to be starting out each one of my cards today by first creating my backgrounds. And I'm going to show you here how I first created both of my rainbow backgrounds. These are definitely some of my favorite color combinations to do whenever I pull out my alcohol inks. And I can't wait to share them with you. I'm going to start out by first making sure that I have my gloves on. Now, alcohol inks will eventually wash off if you happen to get them on your hands, but they will stain your fingers for a few days, so I just wear gloves to prevent that from happening. I'm going to be starting out my rainbow background first with the color Watermelon, and I'm going to be adding that color to the top left-hand corner. In order to move that color around, I'm then going to be using the Tim Holtz Alcohol Ink Air Blower. Now, if you don't have this tool, that's definitely fine. You definitely do not need it to use your alcohol inks. You can definitely just put your alcohol inks on your Yupo paper and let them move around as they choose, or you could pick up your paper and move it from side to side to move the inks around as well. Or how you'll see me here in a second, bringing that paper up closer to the camera, and that's where you can also blow on the inks to move them around. There definitely isn't a wrong way to do it, and each process will work perfectly fine. I think just as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Alcohol inks are definitely addictive. I made 6 backgrounds today. Each one of them will always come out different, no matter if you're using the same colors or not. And I think that's what I love so much about them. I think the last time I pulled them out, I ended up making 12 backgrounds. I just have so much fun when I pull them out. But back to the card. So once I put down that watermelon color, then I'm going to be coming in with some sunshine yellow. And I'm going to be doing that same process of coming in with that alcohol ink air blower to move the color around. And then I'm going to come in with limeade, followed by sailboat blue, and then finally purple twilight. But I'm just going to put on some music and I'm going to continue to put all my inks down and create my backgrounds. The next background, I'm going to be doing another rainbow, but this time I'm going to be doing it horizontal, but I'm going to be using those same 5 colors. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what other colors I'm going to be using for my other backgrounds. With my rainbow backgrounds complete, I'm just going to set those off to the side to dry. And next I'm going to be working on a bright purple, pink, and teal color combo. And I'm going to be using the colors raspberry, that purple twilight again, wild plum, and then finally I'm going to be coming in with some turquoise. I'm going to be doing this background horizontal as well, but this time I'm going to have my Yupo paper vertical. I'm going to be starting out with the raspberry at the top, and I'm going to be adding that color down and moving it around with that ink blower. Now to add texture into your colors, You can definitely come in with some blending solution, which is going to make your areas lighter, or you can come in and add some additional color, which will then make those areas darker. I like to go back and forth between both of those until I'm happy. And again, as long as you're having fun and you're loving the colors that you're getting, just go for it. Next, I'm going to add in turquoise, and then I'm going to follow that with the wild plum color, which is one of my favorite colors. And then finally, I'm going to be adding that purple twilight down at the bottom. My final color combination for my backgrounds today is going to be all things yellow and orange. I have definitely been making a lot of bee-inspired cards, so I wanted to make a background that to me looks like honey. So I'm going to be coming in with that sunshine yellow from earlier, and I'm going to combine that with Valencia and sunset orange. Now for this background, I'm going to be adding that color all over my background panel to make a fun textured background. Now I'm going to start out by adding that sunshine yellow everywhere, and I'm going to move that ink around and add texture to it by adding in some blending solution along with extra drops of that color. And then I'm going to be coming in with some sunset orange, doing the same thing. And then finally, I'm going to come in with my darkest color, which is Valencia. Now to add depth and even more texture into my background, I'm just going to go back and forth between all three of those colors until I'm happy with how it looks. Once all of my backgrounds have had some time to dry, off camera I trimmed them down to just slightly smaller than A2 size because I wanted them to have a border around each of them. I also created 6 card bases using some black colored cardstock, as well as trimmed down some foam sheets that I got from Michael's to just slightly smaller than my alcohol ink backgrounds. So that way I could have each of my backgrounds popped up on my card bases, but I didn't have to worry about wasting a bunch of foam adhesive since I did make so many cards today. I have sped up this process for the video, but I'm just going to be adhering each one of those foam sheets to the back of each one of my alcohol ink backgrounds using some liquid adhesive. And once those have some time to dry, I'm then going to be adhering them to my card bases using that same liquid adhesive. If you don't have foam sheets, you can definitely just use some foam adhesive, or you can just adhere your backgrounds straight to your card bases. Either way will work just fine. Off camera, I used the Marshmallow Alpha dies, and I ran those through my die cutting machine to spell out the words hello and hi, and I ran each letter through my die cutting machine a total of 6 times from some white cardstock and twice from some black glitter cardstock. And I'm going to be adhering each one of those together in order to stack 3 letters on top of one another using some liquid adhesive, and that's going to give my die cut sentiments some really nice added dimension. Next, using the stamp set A Sentiment for Almost Everything, I'm going to be stamping a bunch of different sentiments using some Versamark ink, and I'm going to be stamping each of those onto some black colored cardstock, so that way I can do some heat embossing today. Once I have each of those sentiments stamped out, I'm then going to be adding some Gina K Fine White Embossing Powder, and then I'm going to be heat setting them with my heat tool. Once I have all of my sentiments embossed, I'm just going to be using my paper trimmer in order to trim each of those down into thin strips, and then I'm going to start working on assembling each one of my cards together. I'm going to be using a T-ruler in order to line up my sentiment die cuts onto each one of my backgrounds, and then I'm going to be adhering each letter directly down to my background using some more of that liquid adhesive. Once I have each one of my letters adhered, I'm then going to be adhering my sentiment strips underneath. But for those, I'm going to be adhering those down using some foam adhesive strips. So I'm just going to finish up these last two cards, and then I'm going to be moving on to my final step before completing my cards today. Finally, to finish off each of my alcohol ink background cards for today, I'm going to be adding a few clear sequins to each of my backgrounds in order to finish them off. So once I get those last couple sequins adhered down, that's going to complete my fun, bright, and easy cards for this week. I just love how each of these cards turned out. I honestly can't decide which background I love the most. I'd love to know which background you like the most. Let me know down in the comments, as well as if you have a favorite color combo that you love using when you play with your alcohol inks. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you are interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!